Hi, I'm Raven, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Himi Gouache Paints by Miya, and I cannot wait to start. I have been wanting these paints for the longest time, and can we just start by saying how massive this palette is? On the images on Amazon and online, I knew that it was a big palette. It's got to be a big palette to hold 56 paints, I think it is. But this is insane, and it is also incredibly heavy. Now, I will start by saying that I bought this particular gouache set from Amazon, and the packaging that this has arrived in is different to the listing. This one says Himi on the front in black, and on the listing it is in red and says Miya. Miya is the company that makes Himi paints, but it's interesting that the packaging is as different as it is. So it's the same set, it's the same quality, it's the same paint. I did some research online, and that regardless of what the box looks like on the outside, they are the same ingredients, the same formula, so they should perform the exact same way. The only other thing that I noticed just before we get started and start swatching these is that on the front of mine it says basic, metallic and neon. In the listing for these, there is no mention of neon or metallic. All of the paints in the image look wet, so it's hard to tell which ones are metallic or not. There are three, and I will circle these on a picture over this to show which three I'm on about. There are three which I think might be the silver, gold and bronze. As long as they perform the same or the same quality, I'm honestly not too fussed. So that leads us into opening it. Before I had these paints, my biggest palette were the 48 pan, I think it is, Winsor & Newton ones. So this was my biggest palette. So this one, just for comparison, it is massive. I have got some gloves with me, and the reason for that is I did look at some other reviews online before ordering these, and I saw that the opening of these can be quite a messy process, and some people really wish they'd worn gloves, so that's why I have gloves today. It may be fine, but just as a precaution. So let's open her up. I saw a review online saying that these clippy bits weren't sturdy, and that when you held it by the handle here that it would just come off when they weren't clipped down. Honestly, I've tried that and I've not found that at all. I think it's really sturdy. Is it a weight that you could travel with it easily? No, by no means. But you know, at least it is sturdy. So first of all, when opening it, the inside has this squishy foam-like texture. It's very spongy, and this is to help seal the paints in, because these are all wet and they don't have a lid to cover them back up once they've been exposed. So I see people putting like cling film and then this over the top and all sorts of things. You're meant to spray them once a month, I think it is, or just depending on how often you open them and expose them to air. From first use, you do not need to spray them with anything, but from any time after that, you do need to spray them with just a little light bit of water first, is from what I have gathered. I have already drawn up my space for swatching these. I think the method I'm going to do is flip them out like a cake and order them that way. I'm going to use my light box as like the platform to flip them on. Oh god, that's so heavy. That is so heavy. Okay, let's just spin it around, throw it away, and let's see what we are dealing with. There we go. That worked pretty well. So I am going to reorder them compared to the ones on the sheet, because all of my swatches go from like rainbow order and then sort of browns and blacks and whites at the end. I think I will still keep these pearl ones separate. I think I'll include the neon ones into the general array. So we're going to start with pink. Usually is, I believe, the way I go. Yes, I normally start with pink, so we will start with that. So I'm just going to arrange them while still on here for now. Cool, so that is all of them back in and looking beautiful. I'm gonna have to start opening them, and this is where my worry comes in. Get some little glovies on. I really hope this isn't a horrible mess. Okay, let's start opening them. Oh, they are hard. It's almost like when everyone said they'd be really hard to open, but it was true. I'm gonna try just pierce them open. I'm hoping this is just like a duff first one. I don't know if I have to do this to all of them. Some tweezers would be good actually. They smell like hair dye. Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna grab some tweezers. I'm gonna try opening a different one. This is not good. Oh! This one went. They have some oil on top, and that's just from separation. It's fine. Just give it a little mix and it'll be all good. What I'm gonna do with these lids as I go is I'm gonna use these as the swatch to not waste any paint. Oh wow, that's so thick. I don't know if you can tell from my facial expression, but that is the softest paint I've ever. That's incredible. I've used a lot of gouache paints before, but that is wow. So far from one swatch, I'm impressed. Texture wise, I'm impressed. And does it rinse off okay? Yeah, just fine. This brush was already stained a little bit pink, and there's no residue on the brush after, so cool. I was wondering maybe because it was so thick it might be a bit hard to rinse off compared to regular gouache. I mean, they're still all water based, but yeah, tweezers are the way to go with this for sure. Cool. That one is less separated, which is interesting. That is a beautiful color. What I'm doing is I'm kind of see if I can show you. There is an edge. Come on, camera, focus. There we go. There is an edge there, and I'm trying to put my tweezer like right up to it, and then can you see that there? Push sort of back under it. Right, so that's it. That is all of them swatched. This is the mess left on my gloves, so not as bad as I thought it would be when I started, but definitely still worth wearing some gloves for. So here are all the swatches, and so far they look really nice. I think for the metallics what I will do is I will use my phone and do a little angle of this to overlay just so that you can see. Ta-da! All of them done. I'm really happy. They look beautiful and so vibrant. So exciting. They're so beautiful. Ah. I can already see that some of them, the darker colors, are drying out faster, and the palest colors are more oily as well, which is to be expected. Often paler colors are thinner. So I'm gonna spray these, wrap them up just for the moment. I've got to go get a partner from work, so it'll be quite good to see actually how they wrap and what I come back to in an hour's time. Cool, I am back and it's the next day, and I am going to be reopening the Himi gouache paints and seeing how they've held up overnight. I added cling film over them, hoping that that helps, and it's still got the foamy squishy layer as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they hold. Let's try and just remove this first. My concern is that I'm over time gonna lose quite a bit of paint to, yeah, I mean, there you go. You can see there's quite a bit of paint on here now. I should have just done this for the swatches. Just flattened it down. Only one of the paints has really bled, and that's this yellow here, but it does look much runnier than the others. But otherwise they don't look too bad. This blue's formed quite a big hole in it. I don't know if it was like that before. So I'm gonna slide this to the side a tiny bit. I have decided to get a sort of range of colors. I'm gonna be painting some fruit. So if I hold this a bit closer, you can see I have a lemon, a kiwi, some blueberries, a avocado, some melon, a pomegranate, and strawberries. I think for the fruit, I'm gonna try and not mix any colors, just for the first few. I may not finish this all in this video, just it's more to like show you the color and how they work. I also really want to try mixing the pearl colors as well to see how they perform. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. I'm gonna start with Primrose, I think, which is this lovely yellow color. You shouldn't really ever with these kind of open exposed paints like this pick direct from the palette. You should always, with a clean brush, put a little bit on a plate or a palette, whatever you have to use, and that way you avoid getting your colors at all muddy. But that is covered really beautifully. It's try and see if you can see on here how smooth and flat that color is. There you go, you can see there how you can hardly see the strokes in it. It's beautiful. Just before I wrap up this video, I am going to just quickly test the pearl paints because I didn't end up using any of them, but I'd be really interested to see if they mix. So I'm gonna mix the blue and gold together and see what they do. And I'm gonna get a little bit of blue to mix on the page. There we go. I'm going to use a little bit of the gold to mix in with the blue. I would say that that works. It has a more yellowy shimmer to it, as the blue's kind of silvery. I can't really see much of the silver shimmer coming through, but I definitely get like a goldy green undertone, which is really nice. I'll do the pink and the yellow for a kind of orangey tone. I can get a kind of orangey colour there. And then I will just do a pink and blue to try and get a purple. That's a really pretty colour. Just add a little bit more pink in as well, so there's like two different types of purple there. And I will just swatch the normal purple next to that. So I will just grab that little greeny colour as well so that you can see. Shimmers do mix, and they mix really well, they mix really nicely. They are more pastel and muted, those middle colours. They aren't as vibrant and saturated. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I particularly like this orange colour. This has come out really nice. The actual purple that they give you is definitely more strong and vibrant, but I like these colours that you can mix as well. It's really nice, and I like that they're subtle because you could sort of build them up. And I don't feel like they lose their shimmer at all, honestly. I thought they might lose a bit of their shimmer, but no, not at all. I think they're absolutely fine. It's really good to know. Right, so thoughts and opinions on these paints. First of all, we'll start with the price of them. Is incredibly good for the sheer amount of paint you get. Like, this is hard to lift up. This is an insane amount of paint for the price that you pay. But is the quality of that paint good? You know, it's all well if it's cheap, but if it's terrible, then it doesn't really matter. And I would say that these are really good quality. I saw, I did watch some reviews myself before buying these. I saw someone comparing these to a professional brand gouache, and it was something like £96 for 20 of them, 25 of them. And they were saying how if you want genuinely good paint, to not go for these, and I have to really strongly disagree with that. I think these are brilliant. I've used a lot of different paints, a lot of different types of paint, different brands of paint, and I am genuinely really impressed with these. I have no complaints. They're brilliant. Are they high maintenance? Yeah, they definitely will be. For the moment, they're nice and easy to use, but they will be high maintenance to maintain. But for the price and how good they are, I'm not really too bothered by that, honestly. The opening of them was a bit of a hassle. I'm really glad that I saw other people on the Amazon review so they wish they'd used gloves, because I instantly went and got some just to be safe, because it was a mess, and it also allowed me to keep the paints themselves tidier. And I also used tweezers to open them as well, which was really helpful for the more difficult ones. But yeah, overall, what would my complaints be? The size of it isn't very good for if you want to move around or you have limited desk space. I have what I think would be an average desk size. If you do have a very small workspace, getting a smaller one of these may be a better option, which is fine because they do lots of other smaller ones and split pan ones or half pan ones. I'm not quite sure what they call them. So in terms of catering to a wide range of people who will use them and the price point, I'm genuinely really impressed. And to the range of colours, I mean, brilliant. I'm really genuinely impressed with them. I will say the only thing that I'm noticing now, just as I'm watching these dry, is that they are not less vibrant, but less glossy, and that's because of how matte they are. Some gouaches are, all gouaches matte, but some is slightly more matte than others. This is like complete matte. There is not a tiny shimmery bit of shine on here. A lot of the time, especially white paints, will have a slight shine to them regardless of the type of paint they are, whether it's watercolor, acrylic, oil, gouache, whatever it may be. So I'm really impressed. I'm really genuinely pleased, and I can't wait to do more of these paintings. If you have enjoyed me reviewing these paints and you would like to see me do more, I have lots and lots of art materials to go through and lots that I want to buy. So please do comment, like, follow, whatever you can do wherever you are, and pop me a message saying that you would like me to do more. If you've also enjoyed watching me do painting, I paint every Monday on my Twitch, which is green_fae_raven, and I will be painting often in gouache or watercolor, and I do clouds, scenery, cats, little cute creatures, all of that sort of thing, and we listen to some nice lo-fi music and hang out. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, please do join. Thank you very much.